Hey, Cappuccino here. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Let's Talk Local. We're here at Monster Inc. Tattoo and Piercing here in Crystal Lake. These guys are fun. They're fantastic. The inside is like a comic book store. You're going to love every bit. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this.
Let's talk local, share the vibe. Every voice, every story helps us thrive. From the stage to the food truck, hear it right here at 216. Oh, we bring the cheer. Listen global, feel the pride. Local passion that we won't hide. Every episode a brand new ride. Let's talk local, come be our guide. Hear the local business shining bright. Stories of struggle, stories of life.
Hello, welcome in, Mr. Cappuccino.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
So what's your name?
Dalton.
Dalton, the brother, right?
Yes,
brother
that is
Taylor.
correct. That is correct.
And so we're here for our appointment to do a podcast of Let's Talk Local.
Perfect. Let's get you in. Let's
Awesome.
go down to Taylor.
Appreciate it.
Perfect.
What's up, everybody? Cappuccino on another great episode of Let's Talk Local here in Crystal Lake at Monster Inc. Tattoo and Piercing Studios with Taylor Kuhlman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know, I've been to a lot of tattoo places, and this is probably one of the most unique, fun atmosphere places I've ever been at. We got, if you guys take a look at some of the B-roll here, we got, you know, is that airbrushing or is that spray can on the wall?
Yeah, this is all graffiti. Spray cans. I got a good buddy that lives out in Utah. He's a tattooer as well that did all this for us. It's super cool.
Yeah, in some of the characters that you got out there. So everything's like a monster theme,
Yes.
right? Along with your wife being huge in the comics. So
Yeah.
we're going to mash those together. Two of my favoriteest things.
Yeah.
I can live here.
Yeah.
Which is great. So real quick, so as a kid, as an artist, I'm going to go with you were an artist as a kid,
Forever.
right?
Yeah.
Forever. What were the layers of the onion you had to go through to get where you're at today?
To get into
what
tattooing.
was the dream? Yeah.
I mean, like growing up, it was everything. It started honestly like coloring contests. We used to do tons of those coloring contests out of the newspapers or like the local restaurants and stuff would have them. And my grandmother would always bring them to us, or my mom would find them and you should do these coloring contests. And like I won so many coloring contests, and like I mean, like I took like drawing courses at MCC when I was pretty young. Did
Cool.
like some comic book classes, and I don't know, I've just always had a drive to do creative things. My parents live over in Ridgefield, and they had a little studio over there that was like a pottery place. And the owner there was like one of the coolest dudes ever. And this is me and my brother. We were probably 10 to 14 years old when this was going on. And we would walk down to his pottery studio, and he would just let us make things out of clay daily. Like, so, I mean, we spent a ton of time just making little castles and pots and things. And so, I mean, it's always been some kind of creative drive, whether it was drawing or painting or making pottery or whatever. Through high school and everything, I took drawing classes. That stayed a constant forever.
Yep.
Even in high school, it was kind of funny because like I had so many friends. I was the type of kid, first off, that like when I'm taking notes at school, I'm drawing all over my papers. Like,
I was just going to ask you that.
There's like little doodles all over the place, and like the teachers always thought I wasn't paying attention. They tried to pull one over and be like, "Oh, what's the answer to this question?" And I'd always know it. You know, I just needed to have that stimulation.
The answer's under the dragon.
Right. And so I had friends that were always like, "Oh, you should totally be a tattoo artist." And at the time, I kind of laughed it off. I was like, why? Why would I want to do that? Because in that time frame, it was still kind of underground. You know, it was reserved for bikers and sailors and not much in between it. And every representation.
Rebels.
Yeah, totally.
It
was like
right?
the dark arts, you know, like. And so I always kind of laughed it off, like, I don't know why I would want to do that. And fast forward a couple years after high school, I'm hanging out with one of my good buddies all the time, and his cousin's a tattooer, and she had just served an apprenticeship out in Pennsylvania. When she moved back here, she didn't have a studio to work at, so she was just tattooing friends and family out of her house. And so every time we were over there, I'm watching her doing tattoos. This was the first time I had really been introduced to tattoos at all. And I was like fascinated. I was like, oh, this is like another medium that I can play around with. And so eventually she kind of showed me the ropes a little bit with her equipment and let me tattoo her cousin. And I just fell in love with it immediately. I mean, and then I went home, bought all my own stuff. And it's probably the worst way to do it. Don't do that. But it worked for me. And, you know, fast forward 20 years later almost. And yeah, it's been the fastest segment of job that I've ever had in my entire existence. I mean,
well, you know, being an artist too is hard, right? You know, I think we had a discussion before, is that a businessman versus artist, and not all artists are businessmen, and not all businessmen are artists.
Yeah.
You're kind of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah. I just have, you know, I have big dreams, and for me, it's like this is a very creative industry, and I don't want to be that same cookie cutter, you know, run of the mill shop that you see.
Yeah, and you're definitely not.
Right.
I can say that.
And that's ultimately my driving factor, is like, I need to make this building meet the potential that's in it. Yes. Because it's just the coolest building. We have a cool theme, being monster themed, Halloween. Me and my wife are big Halloween enthusiasts.
What brought on the monster side? Yeah. What brought that on?
So honestly, like, I don't even really know. I mean, I've always been a big Halloween fanatic. My wife grew up watching all the Universal horror movie monster movies with her dad constantly. And so, like, I don't know, it just had this good ring to it, and it had a cool, like, idea theme behind it, and I couldn't find anything better, and I just kind of embraced it, and it's kind of evolved a little bit as the different renditions of our studios have happened, and this is going to be by far the coolest one.
Now, are you guys native to Crystal Lake?
Yeah, we both grew up Crystal Lake.
Lakeans, I guess is what we call them.
Yeah, I've been here virtually my whole life. I lived out of state for a little while in Colorado and Texas for a short time, but always came back here. My family's all here. We're big family people. So, I mean, it's just, native.
Now, your address here is what?
4 East Terra.
4 East Terra. And how long have you been at this location?
So we've had this building just a little under 2 years now.
Okay.
I think September or so is when we actually acquired this building. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. My wife came here and you did her tattoo.
Yeah.
She absolutely loves it.
Awesome.
By the way. And now she wants more.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
That's exactly how
that's it.
You're right in the right business.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, what I mean?
Yeah.
The only other business that doesn't really die out are funeral homes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're always going to need
always needed a funeral home. Business is always good. So let's talk a little bit about tattooing.
Yeah.
So when I watched you do my wife's tattoo, I was like, how do you see? How does that whole get? I'm sure there's a lot of questions out there when people get, and listen, there's people out there with tattoos all over.
Oh, yeah.
And so their artists are really good, but so you're just kind of utilizing a guideline because there's a lot of ink that sits on the top, right?
Yeah. So stencils have gotten immensely intricate over the years. I mean, traditionally, old school tattoos were like that Sailor Jerry, where it was like, ideally when they first came out with stencils, they had it was a acetate, like a piece of plastic, and they would carve a design into it.
Wow.
And then they would take like a powder, like a graphite powder, and they would smother you in Vaseline, and they would flick this thing up onto the surface of your skin. And it obviously wasn't a great stencil. So the idea was to create designs that were so simple that you didn't have to lift your machine, because as soon as you did and you wiped it, that whole thing was going to come off. Over the years, obviously, the popularity of the industry has changed the technologies and the abilities, and now you can just print a portrait as a stencil. Yeah. Which is great, but then on the same time, like, there is a ton of information on those stencils, and it can be very overwhelming to look at because it's just purple everywhere. It is. And so yeah, it takes a certain level of patience, and I mean, you just gotta go for it. Like, you can't hesitate, just work your way across it. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like, a lot of times when you're tattooing, the ink kind of pools on the skin, and every time my dad comes in, he doesn't have any tattoos, but he'll see me working on someone, and he's like, I don't know how you see anything in there. And truth be told, like, a lot of times you can't. A lot of it is feedback that you're getting in the machine itself, kind of like when you're driving a car and you can feel the gas pedal or the brake pedal, and you're getting information from your vehicle. The same thing happens with tattoo machines. So when you're tattooing someone, you're stretching their skin nice and tight so that the skin will accept the pigment, and you're getting some of that vibration that comes back through the machine. So a lot of it is just, you kind of see the path that you're traveling, and you're getting that feedback in your machine to know that you're hitting the skin adequately hard enough that it's gonna actually puncture and leave a mark. So, but it's blind. I mean, it's.
So, and we discussed a little bit. It's like you tackle your lines. Yep. And then you do your fills.
Yep, right? For the most part.
And then there's a little bit of forgiveness because you can always come back to your lines.
Yeah, the line work is by far the most tedious and like strenuous and like high pressure part of the image, because if it's something with clean lines, like there's no forgiveness there. If it's something that has no fill and it's just line work, on the surface, to an outsider, it looks like, oh, this is just this simple little tattoo. It's just some lettering or whatever. But realistically, that lettering is the entire substance of the tattoo. So if one letter's out of place, if one line's out of place, like, your eye is immediately going to go to it. So oddly enough, the simplest tattoos on the surface are some of the most technical, because there's just no margin for error. If you're doing a whole back piece and one line somewhere on there isn't perfect, your eye's not going to go to it because you have all that fill. So yeah, it's a little deceptive, because some of these tattoos, they look so simple, but it's unforgiving for sure.
Well, and so that brings me to my next question. When people don't understand, they like, my friend's starting to tattoo, he's going to do my tattoo. Probably not a great idea.
Sure.
Being a veteran in the industry.
Sure.
That's why you have a shop. That's why. So the suggestion for the folks out there that are thinking about getting a tattoo, if it's through you or not, what would the recommendation be?
So, I mean, realistically, the industry is more saturated than it's ever been. And that's good and bad. You get a lot of people that shouldn't be doing it, but you got a lot of people that are like pushing the bounds of what's possible via art. So because of that, any style that you're looking for, there's someone out there that does it better than everybody else.
Sure.
So ultimately, research is everything. There's so many good artists out there. There's so many good shops out there. Spend the time, narrow down the person who does what you're looking for, bring reference photos of the style that you like. And there's someone out there to do that for you, there's really no excuse to have bad tattoos anymore, because there's so much talent in this industry. I mean, in the past, like, you had maybe 3 tattoo shops from Rockford to Chicago. So you had a very limited talent pool. Most of them were doing American traditional or maybe Japanese traditional, and a couple little things here and there, but now you have people that are going to school for art. They're graduating with degrees in art, and then they're coming here into this industry. It's an industry. And because of that, I mean, it has raised the bar immensely. So do your research. Find the person that's doing the stuff that you're looking for, so that you're not going to be upset.
So and here's the beautiful part to my next question, is, for instance, my wife, when she got the Phoenix.
Yeah.
You said, do your research.
Yeah.
She went out and she found a bunch of different pictures of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And you kind of made the Phoenix based on
combination
the
of
idea.
those.
That way you're kind of knowing where her head's at
Right.
of the image that she's
Absolutely.
looking for. And it came out
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
And so you do your homework, I guess, is a number one
For
goal
sure.
to that. For people that are looking to come here and get a tattoo, what is the best way to get a hold of you guys?
So shooting us an email is great. Stopping in is great. Over the phone is fine. We have so many avenues that you can reach out. We have a really good management system here that takes care of all our social media inquiries and stuff. Ultimately, we end up sending you a form via Google that kind of asks a lot of the questions just to help us narrow down who's going to be the best fit for you, what kind of style you're trying to look for. That way, once we have that consultation process, it's really straightforward, and the artist is going to know exactly kind of what route you're looking for. And then when the design process happens, there's a lot less changes that end up needing to happen on the fly. So,
How many artists do you have?
right now we have 4 artists and 2 piercers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's talk about piercing a little bit.
absolutely.
And so, Brenna, right? Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. Come on in.
Come on in here.
Look at that. Look at that. If you can't see the creativity just sitting here, this married couple are so fun. I know I could talk you guys' ear off. I could talk about an apple for an hour anyway.
Absolutely.
But when I came in, my daughter got her ear pierced by you, which you made it flawlessly painless
you.
for her to do so.
Yeah.
And I love the caring aspect of it, because you're like, I want you to come back on this day so I can take a look at it to
Yeah.
make sure we're still moving forward
Yes.
in the right. It's not getting infected. You gave, and same thing with tattoos. You guys give so much great information, and we'll tackle back a little bit on care for a tattoo, because a lot of people don't really understand that. I think they're just like, I got a tattoo. Let's go jump in the pool for about 17 hours.
Yeah, don't do
right.
that.
Just not a good idea.
Yeah.
So the piercing side of it. So Brenna, what made you want to get into the piercing? I see you obviously have a bunch of piercings, but what made you want to get into the piercing side of it?
So when he opened the studio, I always wanted to be involved with the studio in some which way or form.
Just hold back.
And then I would do, up front, I would check people in. I would kind of start with that. I started answering the emails, things like that. And then a few years ago, an opportunity arose where I had the option to become a piercing apprentice. And I was like, well, I love playing with jewelry all day, so that would be fun. And it would be my way that I could work with my husband.
Yeah.
So I did it was about a 1.5 year apprenticeship at a really awesome studio in St. Charles. My mentor, his name is Derek. He's absolutely amazing. He taught me everything I know.
Shout out to Derek.
Shout out to
Absolutely.
Derek at Sink or Swim. But yeah, I was about a 1.5 year apprenticeship, almost 2. And then I started here. And I learned a lot in that time. And my main thing with piercing is I want clients to be comfortable, and I want to make sure that they understand what they're getting. They understand the aftercare. As far as the checkups go, the 8-week, I like to see my clients back at 8 weeks because I want to see how things are doing. Let me see, just come in, you're here maybe 5 minutes. I ask you some questions, I take a look, let's see how things are doing. If we have to downsize a post at that time, we can. If they want to change the tops, they can. So, and the jewelry we use here is all implant grade titanium. It's literally the same type of metal that surgeons use for knee replacement, hip replacement, screws in the back. It's implant grade titanium. That's the best thing that you can put in your body. So that's all I use here, and I very rarely will have somebody have an allergy to that. I think we've been open 9 years,
Yeah, 9
and I've
years,
had maybe 2 people see a doctor and they're like, you're not good for titanium, like 2 in 9 years. So
Oh, wow.
99% of people are not going to have a problem with implant grade titanium.
Nice.
So
A lot of great information on that. Are there any piercings you won't do?
So there is a few that I personally don't offer. Industrials are one of them. That's where the bar kind of goes straight across from helix to helix. I don't offer those. They have an extremely high rejection rate. You have to have the proper anatomy for that. A lot of piercings are anatomy dependent, and industrials are one of those things. Marcus will offer them every once in a while if the person has the right anatomy. I typically am just kind of like, I'm gonna stick with, I like doing basics.
Gotcha.
I like sticking with ears and nostrils and navels and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's really probably the highest one where I'm like, is an industrial. Those are very anatomy dependent. So
That makes sense.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
For care for tattoos, so you have this, it's like a body butter, right?
Yeah.
That you put on it. Give me a step-by-step process of, I just got out of the chair.
Sure.
And what is my next step, and how long am I looking at? Obviously, by the size of the tattoo, always kind of makes a difference too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways that we heal tattoos here. We have two different bandage options. One of them's kind of a newer type of bandage in the industry. It's there's a whole bunch of brands: Sanoderm, Tegaderm, Second Skin, Recovery. It's basically like that clear film that they put over your IV when you have that done. The only drawback I've seen with that is that there's a lot of people that have sensitivities to the adhesives in those. So I always typically ask people if they know of any sensitivities and describe what that would look like if they did have it. Ideally with that bandage, you can leave it on typically for like 2 days and just kind of let it be, which is kind of nice to have that kind of closed up. It just takes that edge off a little bit over the first couple days. And then you would kind of do a traditional healing after you remove that. And the traditional healing would be like a standard, sterile gauze bandage, like an ABD pad. Typically that would stay on a tattoo for about 2 hours afterwards. Take it off, wash it really good with a mild soap, let it be dry the rest of that day. And then the day after, that Hustle Butter is one of my favorite products. It's a non-petroleum, a lot more natural ingredients in it. It's really light. So typically what I encourage people to do is once or twice a day, you're gonna wash your tattoo real good with a mild soap in your hand, pat it dry with a clean paper towel, and then put a little bit of that cream on there. Typically for most people, healing looks like, I would say about 10 days is kind of the normal range. You're gonna have kind of a flaky, peely stage where it gets incredibly itchy. You're gonna see little bits of the pigment pull out. It's important not to scratch at it when that happens. Just kind of let the body do what it does. Once it gets past that itchy stage, it's a lot smoother sailing. Typically, I recommend staying out of direct sunlight for about 30 days. Don't soak or submerge in water for 30 days. Obviously, showering, things like that is totally fine, but it's like the hot tubs, it's the bathtubs, it's the prolonged soaking, anything. Chlorine. Yeah, chlorine's bleach. I mean, if it's an open wound, it will fade your tattoo. Direct sun, yeah, absolutely. 30 days. Just be on the safe side. People spend a lot of time and money getting tattooed. Like, take care of it. Even after it's healed, you're gonna be my best friend if you put sunscreen on it forever. Like, if you're gonna be out in the sun for more than an hour, put sunscreen on it. I promise it goes a long way to keeping your tattoos nice. I even have some amazing clients that go to the extent of buying like sleeves that they'll put on their arms when they go to the beach. When our air conditioning went out the other day, one of my clients does that. He came in, he fixed it up, and both his arms had these like they're like cloth sleeves that go over it. And he's like, yeah, I don't go anywhere.
That's smart. Yeah, that's smart.
And it makes a big difference, honestly. 10 years down the line, all your color is still holding strong.
Now, one of the things that you do, I don't know if other shops really do this or not, but what I loved about you the most towards the end of the process when we were here is you said, yes, don't worry, color is going to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And come back so we can touch it up.
Yeah, I think that it's important to stand behind your work. If you're doing a great job, there's no reason you shouldn't stand behind your work. So I personally have always offered lifetime touch-ups to my clients. So 10 years down the road, if it's faded, if it just needs a little bit of help, come and see me. I'm not going to charge for that. If it's a month into it and it was healing and you caught something on, whatever when you were walking by, or you scratched it and a piece came out, I'm not going to give you a hard time. I'm going to touch it up you're going to be happy with it. Like, that's really ultimately what's important to me.
Is there an artist code? Like, if somebody wanted to come here that already has a tattoo done by somebody else, is there an artist code to that, to like messing with it?
That's kind of a weird one for some people, because some people are like, oh, it was done by someone else, I'm not going to touch it. In my mind, it's like, if that person was truly happy with the piece and the artist who did it, and they needed, whether it was touch up or if they're reworking it or finishing a piece, if they were truly happy with that experience, they would have went back to that person. And there's a million reasons why that might be. People leave, people move out of state. Sometimes you get in a chair and you think you're getting something, and you get done with the first session and you get home and you're like, this is not the route I was looking for. I think it would be kind of toxic to be like, no, you need to go back to that person. Like, what if the experience with that person was weird? What if they were inappropriate in some way? What if they made you feel weird? Like, I don't think it's right to be like, no, you need to absolutely go to the person. So I think there's plenty of cases where it's justified that they should be shopping elsewhere. And there's plenty of times where I've taken tattoos that were done by other people and either revamped them, fixed them up, covered them up. I mean, whatever it was. Ultimately, I just want you to be happy with the skin that you have and the tattoos that you have. And, that's kind of my role, is to help navigate that for people, because they don't always know what that looks like.
The name is Monster, but they are not monsters. They are the absolute opposite. What a fun place. On the piercing side, so, back in the 90s, we would take ice.
Yeah.
And we would numb our ears, and then whatever rusty tool you had, right, you would just jam it through, and then, your ear would be about this big later down the line from infection. We recommend that you don't do that, folks. There are professionals now that can do that. It's not super expensive to do like it used to be back in the day. You had to find the right person. There are laws and rules that you have to follow to that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there are rules. I pierce a lot of kids' lobes. A lot of kids. I pierce kids as young as 5.
Oh, wow.
And the requirements for that is anybody under the age of 18 that's getting a piercing here, there are a lot of things you need. You need, like, parent has to be present. It can't be your aunt or your uncle. You go to Claire's and aunt or uncle can take you. With tattoo studios and piercing studios, there's a lot more. I like how strict it is. It's a little safer in my opinion. So you need, like, parent or legal guardian, their ID. You need a birth certificate. You need a photo ID of the child. So whether it's a state ID, it could be a school picture. I need something that references this is your child and you are related to this person. If they have a passport, that's great. Bring that with. Right. So there is a lot of regulations to that. But as far as I try to make kids feel so comfortable. I'm a mom myself. We have 2 daughters. So I love piercing little kids when they come in. I have little squishies in my room that I'm like, do you want a squishy? You can squish a squishy or hold mom's hand, or, however you want to do it. And I let the kid kind of lead. So I let the children lead. I don't do anything without them telling me it's okay. I'm always going to ask first, is it okay if I feel? Is it okay if I touch? I clean your ear. When I pierced your daughter, I did the exact same thing. I'm always going to ask first. I have them take a big deep breath in and out when I do the piercing, and I use very, very sharp hollow needles. I don't use a gun like Claire's does or anything like that. We don't want to do that.
The old hammer and needle.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Strap them in, boys.
Strap 'em in. Yeah, no, we don't do anything like that. So, and I'm very fast. So it's a big deep breath in and a big deep breath out. By the time they're done breathing in, I'm already done.
You're making it fun.
So I'm making it fun. Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The regulations are important. Listen, they got to make sure that if they're going to poke a hole in your kid, that it's your kid.
It better belong to you.
Right. Better belong to you.
You're not the cool neighbor that's taking the group out.
I'm the cool uncle.
Yeah,
and look what I'm doing. Yeah, right. No,
because then we're going to catch the back end of that.
Absolutely. And it's
Mom
safe
or
for
dad's
them.
going to
And
show
it's
up.
safe for you. And it's safe for your kids. It's sterile. It's legal. It's safe. It's clean. These are all the big red flags for if you walk into a place and it's not clean. Leave.
Yeah, we get that comment all the time, and it surprises me every time. They're like, it smells so clean in here.
It
looks so clean in here. And I'm like, thanks,
Loved
but
your
that
ear.
should be the standard. Like it
Loved
shouldn't,
your ear
it
freshener
shouldn't be
today.
a
It was great.
surprise. So yeah,
Well,
that always makes me laugh a little bit.
And we're running out of time, so we're gonna wrap this up. But
Yeah.
for both of you, and we'll start with you is for up and coming artists that are thinking about tattooing.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give?
Don't stop drawing. Even while you're looking for an apprenticeship, in the meantime, keep working on your portfolio, keep drawing. Don't go buy your own stuff and just try to figure it out. Though that works for some people, it can cause a lot of bad habits that you have to relearn. So yeah, take your time, find an artist that is going to teach you the style that you're looking to learn. Again, they're diverse, they're everywhere. There's someone that specializes in that. They're going to be able to teach you all the tricks and little, tips that are going to make your journey just easier. Yeah.
Now, with giving that kind of advice, what kind of advice would you say to 7-year-old Taylor?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, keep doing it.
Just move forward.
It's all worth it in the end. I mean, don't stop dreaming, I think.
That's right. Don't stop dreaming is
Yeah.
huge.
Stay humble.
You're dreaming too bad. Go get a job. In the creative world, that is the job.
Yeah.
And people don't realize
Yeah.
that. So not everybody's meant for that 9 to 5. You guys find the niche here.
No.
And it's fantastic. What about you?
What about me?
What kind of advice for people who are looking to learn how to pierce and do all the right things? What advice would you give?
I would say pretty much the same as Taylor. You want to do your research. You want to find a piercer that knows what they're doing. So you could literally, some shops will be like, I need a piercer. Hey, they'll have a friend. Hey, you want to come pierce for me? And they're like, yeah, okay. And they have like kind of no knowledge. They're just like, oh, I just poke a hole in somebody with a needle. That's really all it is. There is a lot more logistics than just poking a hole in somebody. There are lots of steps that you have to learn in order to poke a hole in somebody. And I know that sounds crazy, but like, oh, it's just poke a hole in somebody. No, it's really not that. There's this whole thing called bevel theory that I could get into that we use as piercers. I would say the best advice is do your research, find a piercer specifically, if you can, that is an APP member. And the APP is the Association of Professional Piercers. Their regulations are amazing. That you can find it at safepiercing.org. Like, find somebody that there's a conference every year that me and Marcus have gone to where we go to, I know it's in Vegas, but we take week-long classes that are trained, that are by other piercers.
Vegas.
Oh no,
not again.
But yeah, we take week-long classes that teaches us even more things every year. So, and I plan on going next year. Me and Marcus are going to go next year to an APP conference. So do your research, find somebody that knows what they're doing, APP if you can, make sure they use hollow needles, make sure that they use high quality jewelry because that's what you want. And yeah, just do your research. That's a big thing today is do your research.
I know.
But that's really what you need to do is just find somebody that knows what they're doing.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you guys and your time. I know you're busy.
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for having us.
What a fantastic place. Listen, folks, come check them out. Monster Inc. Tattoo and Piercing out here in Crystal Lake. If anything, just to look at the decor is addictive.
Yeah.
The artwork on the wall is fantastic. A very unique place. Very unique people. Caring to the end. Come get a tattoo. Get a hole put in your body. And then go show them at work.
Absolutely.
They love that.
Yep.
Until next time, guys. I'm Drew Cappuccino. Let's talk local. Listen global.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Every story's worth a little bliss. From the heart of the town to the open air. Let's talk local, we're taking you there. 216 Creative Studios, where the magic starts. Local businesses, their real work of arts. From the cafes to the shops on the